on to organized opposition. As you guys know, this is not going away. It's continuing to grow and grow and grow. And this last year, we saw new organizations crop up. We saw organizations like the Texas Environmental Protection Coalition, which originated as the Highland Lakes Clean Air, organization in Marble Falls. Now they are statewide, and they're looking to try to expand their influence. The Black-Green Alliance is another one that came up as a result of some activity that was taking place on the permitting side in North Texas. We're seeing other organizations like Friends of Dry Canal Creek, Downwinders at Risk, the Moms Clean Air Force, the Air Alliance Houston. These are all organizations that have specific issues that are focused on our industry and on our operations. And so they're becoming very nimble and very active in how they organize and how they get information out there. So obviously it's something that has continued to grow, and we have got to do something in terms of being proactive and engaging in this process. Of course, you've got other organizations that are the traditional ones, like the Sierra Club Lone Star chapter, EDF and Earth Justice. These are organizations that are continuing to get funding going forward. And those are ones that are going to also organize and support these other organizations. And so what they're doing is they're targeting a variety of stakeholders. They're targeting residents. They're targeting folks who, really may not know much about what we do, but they're providing information to them. And they're basically painting the picture, and they're telling the story with information that isn't correct. What's also happening is that local elected officials are getting pinged. Their Facebook pages are getting pinged, and they're starting to hear this kind of feedback. And so they're starting to react. And of course, they're talking to their state officials. And so we're seeing that make its way into the legislature. And you're seeing some interesting partnerships between some of these groups and some legislators who really would be pretty conservative in many other areas. And so this is something that is not going to go away. I think we all recognize that we're going to have to step up, and we're going to have to be very engaged in this process. So one of the things that we've done, and I'll talk a little bit about the emerging leaders, but this is a result of an emerging leaders program that came up this last year, and it was basically an opposition study. So we've been, over the last 2 years, evaluating basically what has been posted about our industry. And as you see here, I'm not going to go through them, but if you look at last year, year-to-date 2017, and then coming up to the first 6 months of this year, the frequency of articles has pretty much doubled. And you see that slate of a proportion. You have the breakdown of positive, negative, and neutral. Obviously, that negative number has gone from 63% up to 70%. So granted, that does have some seasonality to it, and it does tend to ebb and flow based on what current events are taking place. But I think this paints the picture that this is something that is not only growing, but it's increasingly negative, and we've got to work on doing something to engage. And so one of the things that we've done as an organization is we've developed a list of responses that are provided for our members. And so we've taken these through our environmental committee and our government affairs committee and kind of vetted them through in terms of legal and environmental expertise, and basically created them as opportunities. If you see misinformation, or if you see things that are being posted, this is intended to be used as a tool for our members to help to refute those. Now, these aren't intended only to be posted on Facebook or to be presented to news media or anything like that, but they can also be used in meetings with stakeholders. They're intended to provide information so that you can see basically, these are the points that are being made. Here are the offsetting points that ultimately basically are making the clarity and providing a clear and reasonable answer to this misperception. And one of the other things that we've been doing as well is just continuing to engage with our stakeholders and being involved with other groups that are critical to what we do. And one example of that is the engagement that we've had over this last year, and really over the last several years, with the Alamo Area Council of Governments. This is something they're working on, studying the ozone right here in this area.